Now, what was it? We were talking about the floor, the Earth being the floor, and the sky being above your head, weren't we?
Right. Right. And then the guy asked if like everyone at NASA was in on it. No, like the globe is an interpretation of data that people collect. That's all it is. It doesn't exist in reality because it's not how it's actually measured and utilized. What it offers is a convenient explanation for phenomena. And even so, it's not a consistent explanation for the phenomena that we see.
Right. It's
It
just like,
checks a lot of boxes.
go ahead.
I was going to say, it checks a lot of boxes, but it leaves so many more unchecked. We're here to tell you about all the boxes that it doesn't actually check. For starters, you'd have no idea that it was a globe unless somebody told you or inculcated the idea in you in the first place.
Yeah, the globe only exists because of how you perceive the air around you, the world around you, right? It's all perspective based. Has nothing to do with the surface.
It comes from a very ancient idea and very ancient source that there's a celestial sphere. Which is funny because modern cosmologists, the common understanding of our world and its place in the universe, denies the very celestial sphere that the globe was created from in the first instance. That's some of the great irony behind all this. Today, it's treated as a model. The observable phenomena are how the stars move. So people model it. In fact, stellarium is planetarium software that models the celestial sphere. It doesn't assume any specific distances. It treats.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you look in any planet, like planetarium or stellarium or whatever, if you take the initial view that they give you and then zoom out, it looks like a bubble. Have you ever noticed that before, Yoder?
Well, zooming out from stellarium, I don't know what you're talking about. It just creates a wider angle field of view.
Right. You know how when you're looking up at the stars through stellarium, you can kind of zoom into the stars and planets a little bit so you can identify them a little better?
Yeah.
Well, do the inverse of that while you're looking at the stars or the planet or whatever, Mars, Jupiter, whatever you're looking at. Zoom out, and it looks like a dome over the observer.
Oh yeah, it's modeled as a sphere. It's a little like the code of stellarium models that as dual hemispheres with a radius of one arbitrary unit. It's a unit sphere in geometry. So over time, they just calculate, sine and cosine relationships relative to the observer of the stars and the planets and everything else. There's really nothing else to it other than that. And it's observer centric, so you can put yourself in any city and it will try to model the celestial sphere as it's observed from that particular vantage point. But in no case can any of these objects be triangulated using this model, their heights above the Earth. In no case can their altitudes be triangulated. And this is because of the observer-centric nature of this model. Incidentally, this mirrors what we experience in reality, observer centricity of all these phenomena in the sky, and our inability to triangulate any fixed position of these objects in 3 dimensions. Stellarium works on any surface. Globe or flat, doesn't matter. Dinosaur nugget, It's irrelevant. It has no measured distances between cities. It has no measured orientations of land masses or anything like that. None of that exists. Now, what it does do for you is you can plunk down geo coordinates like latitude and longitude to put yourself somewhere, but really all that does is it gives you your right ascension and declination underneath the sky at that particular point in time. Because latitude and longitude come from the stars to begin with. So just giving stellarium your coordinates, latitude and longitude, doesn't mean that the Earth is a globe. You're just giving it observer-centric coordinates in relation to the stars in the first place. It'd be circular logic to say that by giving latitude and longitude, that you are affirming or proving that Earth is a globe. Because the globe's latitude and longitude can only be derived from your perception of how the stars move, whether or not they actually move in the way you perceive them. Yeah, and it's great. If you want to calculate the distance between New York and Paris using an assumed rule of thumb like the 69-to-1 rule, fine. You're not proving or measuring the distance between New York and Paris if you're using that rule of thumb in two longitude coordinates. And what's great is that the coordinate reference system provides like an easy way to maybe get close to what may happen in reality, but it's not a measurement. Everyone who knows who's looked into this understands that the 69-to-1 rule of thumb is a rule of thumb only and is not proven to hold accuracy everywhere at all times. In fact, I'd say it hasn't even been measured to any degree of considerable accuracy at all.
Right, because they're always making corrections when they're in error.
Yeah, well, their corrections are only corrections relative to other calculations. Nobody's measured out 69 miles to a satisfactory degree of error in relation to a 1 degree angular displacement of a star in the sky. I've never come across this, not even once, except for deep history, where it's been claimed to have been done using wagon wheels and a buggy going from Paris to a town north thereof. What I have seen are reaffirmations of this relationship using GPS, which is circular logic. GPS doesn't provide measurements, folks. It provides calculated distances.
Is that why when you're on GPS and it makes you go make a turn in the wrong direction because it's not giving you accurate locations? It's just making calculations and adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, like everybody's experienced that before. GPS says turn left here. And you're like, no, I got like another 150 feet. I got another 500 feet to go. What the hell? Those incremental errors add up. They accumulate. And the accumulation over vast distances, not just, mileage around town, but thousands of miles between cities on different continents, it adds up. The error is unquantifiable, in my opinion, at this point. I mean, I don't know if anybody's been able to do it, because in order to quantify the error, you'd need another way to measure the distance between those cities and to measure the accumulated error relative to that distance. So you got to take the GPS calculation, compare it to the actual measurement apart from GPS using some other method, and then you see how far off it was.
Yeah, one of the most frustrating ones is when I'm driving and it's like, exit here. I'm like, no, my exit's like 4 more exits up. Why am I exiting here? And then you exit there, and then it tells you to get back on the freeway.
Yeah, or you can watch like with the older Garmin's or TomToms, you watch your car and it starts drifting off the road, and a few seconds later it snaps back to it again. GPS has one job to do, and that is no matter where your car actually is on Earth, on flat Earth, no matter where it is, your GPS is to try and put it as best it can to fit the coordinate reference system that it's using, which just so happens to be a spherical one by preference.
Drive in
That's a good
downtown
question.
Pittsburgh by the stadium there and see how your GPS does when you're on the highways.
Yeah, it's funny in
Can I ask
some
a
places
question?
it sucks. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, real quick, because I don't want to, because I just got here. I don't want to misunderstand what you're saying. Are you talking about GPS's inaccuracies being like a piece of evidence that the Earth is flat, or am I missing something?
No, it's just not proof that Earth is a globe.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a commercial service, not meant to.
Right.
No one
But
ever
it's
claimed it was meant to prove it was a globe, except for Globers.
exact.
Well, I'm a diehard glober, and even I wouldn't say that GPS like proves it.
Well,
Right.
you're the
And
only one.
for the main reason that people don't get this, but like all the computations for this, your coordinates, are done at the receiver. And people don't realize that. And the receiver can use different coordinates, right?
Well, the
They've
receiver. Are you talking
modified.
about the phone?
Well, the phone is one. You can also
Yeah.
build them out of Raspberry Pis. There's also
Yeah.
differential GPS devices that they use for surveying. And
So I
what they've
actually
done.
work. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll wrap it up real quick.
Yeah.
But different receivers can load different coordinate reference systems, different schemas to apply the beacon signals they get from the GPS network. It's not exclusive only to a globe. You can pull a state plane coordinate system, which is completely flat. You can pull the British National Grid system and apply GPS to that, and that's completely flat. They've modified GPS systems for lunar datums. They've assumed a moon.
Oh, wait.
And
Okay? So is maybe people on my side of the fence are saying not that like the existence of GPS proves the globe Earth model. Are you saying okay? Is it possible that they're saying like the way in which it's proposed to operate correlates with what we see on our receiving devices, and therefore it's evidence that the Earth is a globe?
I'd say, yeah, hesitantly,
Because I
yes. I
work
think
in the
that's where they're
smartphone.
going
I
with
work in
that.
the smartphone industry, um, and I know that smartphones don't just use GPS data. What they do is they use Bluetooth, Wi-Fi signals, and like a peer-to-peer network, like between each other to like get location references. Because if you just use GPS, that's highly inaccurate. You can only use GPS positioning as one data point among others, and they have to be like aggregated together to approximate positioning.
Precisely. And there's actually an Air Force program more than 20 years ago called Skyhook, which was a nod to the early program where they would snag canisters of photographic film from the sky. But the Skyhook was like a war driving program where they took planes and flew them all over the country and then all over the world, where they were providing geotags to all RF emitters, people's Wi-Fi networks, radio towers, FM stations, you name it. And that became the network that was then used to enrich GPS data in the differential GPS system.
This is gonna be a personal question, but can I ask what got you into being a flat earther?
Maybe working for the government.
Okay, can you elaborate?
No.
I mean, what? Okay. I mean, I want to know your journey into like coming to that position.
How about this, Yoder? Who told you the Earth is flat, and then what made you look into it?
Made you
Water
believe them anyway.
coworker. Back in like maybe 2011, actually, a coworker of mine told me it was, and if I could get into his heritage, it would be pretty wild to hear about this and how compelling it was. And I thought he was crazy at the time.
So, what evidence do you have that the Earth is flat? Then, if you can't talk about your personal journey.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've got personal observations that I've not released or published because I just don't care to dox myself. But what I've observed and measured comports to what many others have put out there on this. Long distance laser tests over frozen lakes, where the equipotential of gravity is supposed to be conforming the surface to a curve. is commensurate with the globe. We've
Can you tell me
got like a
what, like how
laser
that
test.
works mechanically?
Yeah. So in one case, a team of field engineers went over to Lake IJssel in the Netherlands. It's a big man-made lake, and they set up a laser 1.5 meters high on one end and shined it to a target that was 40.3 kilometers away to the other end. And it hit the target. And it not only hit the target at the other side, but did so at 1.5 feet, where the centroid of the laser was observable from the other side. Given that it was frozen and given that the conditions were very stable, there's no distortion of the beam other than its own diffraction limited footprint.
What was the distance that this was done over? I apologize if I
40,
missed it
40,
when you said it.
40 kilometers, and there should have been 90 meters of variance of globe height, but the target was
40
1.5
kilometers?
meters.
19.
Yeah,
Well, that would, if that were the case, I mean, I'm no physics expert, but just from a layman, that would be underestimating the size of the Earth by several orders of magnitude. Like
yeah,
that would assume there's 19 meters of differential.
90,
Really? I don't
90 meters.
90 90 meters. That is if the Earth's a globe, like it's much bigger than that assumes.
I mean, a lot of people have come to wonder about that too. I mean, this is curious, and right, and this team has gone all over Europe, like Hungary and other parts, to do the same kind of testing.
Well,
And this is
that
just one
experiment doesn't
example.
sound valid though. I don't want to
Well,
I don't want to talk over you, but that experiment doesn't sound. That experiment, if it was expecting 90 meters of like height differential in the laser over 40 kilometers is nothing. You won't notice like the curvature of the Earth.
it's
The
supposed
Earth
to
is
produce 90 meters of drop.
I don't I but the Earth would have to be really small for that to happen.
No, that's the claimed dimensions. That's a near 4,000 mile average radius.
You're going to be
Which is
really
like a
surprised about this.
0.003% variance from the semi-major and minor axes.
Julian, you're going to be really
Mhm.
surprised when you Google up the Earth curvature calculator and you actually see that what Yoder says is correct. There is
Yeah,
90
I was
meter over
surprised
that
too.
distance.
Exactly. What they tell us the Earth is, like 4,000 mile radius, just about. When you go look at the numbers and you start calculating what the drops over distances should be, you're like, whoa, this is way smaller than I thought it was. This can't be true, but it absolutely is true. I mean, you can
So,
not only do the
mhm.
calculations yourself, but you can read on like astronomy websites and geoinformatics websites and faculty websites. Or I mean, it's all for NASA puts out the same information. It's crazy.
Okay. So let me ask this: what's the conspiracy here? Like, why lie about the shape of the Earth?
I'm glad you asked that. So yeah, I mean, people give us a bad rap. They call us a bunch of conspiracy kooks, and I get that. Like most flat earthers tend to be on flying
Well,
off
the
the
word
rails with
conspiracy,
conspiracy theories.
it
I
has a
don't think
bad
the
rap,
Earth.
but like the word. Go ahead.
I'll
Sorry.
tell you what I think. I think this is almost like the globe is one of the biggest urban myths ever conceived. Everybody just believes it is. So what's happening is people take scientific data and they believe Earth is a globe so much that they shoehorn it in to the globe model that they believe exists.
But why?
Because they can't conceive of Earth being anything else other than a globe.
We've had like subversive changes to our like even most passionately foundational ideas in the past, especially with religion. I, we're far less attached. I'm far less attached to like the shape of the Earth than I am like it was sort of like from a moral sense or from an emotional standpoint than I am with like my moral like ethics
Yeah.
themselves. Like I would sooner believe the Earth is flat than I would say that like utilitarianism is like a bad moral framework or something. Like I would
Yeah. Oh, I
sooner
agree with you
say
there totally.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you and
yeah,
I have a similar outlook on other issues, but totally.
but I
And I
also
think
don't
that's
believe the Earth
important
is
in order to
flat.
have academic humility. Right. So then
But
what
I
does
also
that
don't
mean as
think.
a consequence? Listen,
Hmm?
this doesn't mean that Earth is a flat planet. So
Are you
we're
not a
now
flat earther?
having to rebuild a new cosmology from the ground up, okay? So there's no
Well,
Big Bang cosmology, no solar system, no outer space vacuum anymore. We have to start from the ground up. What we know and what we can determine objectively is that the ground you're walking on and the oceans of the Earth are flat and form a foundation for the entire sky structure above the stars, the sun, moon, planets, the nebula, galaxies, whatever the hell they
Hold on,
really are
I don't
now.
want to lose focus though. I'm asking why lie about the shape of the Earth? Why are the globalists or whatever saying that the Earth is a globe when it's actually flat?
Yeah,
And
so
you're
going
saying
back to
it's
that, I don't think they're
academic,
lying.
like pride?
I think there's a lot of pride. I think there's belief. I think what's happened is people have deluded themselves into thinking this is true, that the globe is like a base axiom, and
Well,
they
there's
never
a
bothered to test the premise.
okay. I can I actually have I can cite how in academia we change our ideas a lot. Like for example, there was a pretty big fraud scheme with Alzheimer's medication. So there's a lot of research that apparently had a certain degree of fraud to it, where the results were not true, but they were lied about to secure funding. For a pharmaceutical that would flush out a couple of proteins in the brain that are correlated with the progression of Alzheimer's. They're called amyloid beta and tau. I don't know how much the validity of the amyloid beta tau hypothesis for the progression of Alzheimer's is hurt by this. What I do know is that the research was what was partially fraudulent.
Nobody
And
gives a
by
shit
extension, the
about that.
medication was useless.
What's
Here's the
happened is
thing, Julian. Julian,
Nobody cares about that shit.
Well,
if
I'm
I
saying
gave
that
you
that's
every
evidence that
reason,
academia can change its
Julian,
mind.
That doesn't make
if
the
I
Earth
gave
a
you
globe.
if I
Hmm?
gave you every reason in the world for why anybody would lie, right?
Mhm.
And you still don't believe it, then what good is the reason? The
Whoa,
fact
whoa!
that there
I
is
was
a
all I
lie,
did. I wasn't trying to prove the globe. Hold on, I wasn't trying to
right?
prove the globe. I was saying, okay, if the reason that the Earth is being lied about as being a globe is academic pride, I can cite an example of academia changing their mind on something very handily and very fast. So
It depends
I just don't
on
find that very
It could
convincing.
be more
yeah,
than
it
that.
depends what it is. It depends on the discipline. It depends on how entrenched everything is in a particular worldview. I mean, what's happened here is something I think completely different. This is like in a this is model or mathematical underdeterminism on a massive scale. This is they can make the globe work with all kinds of ad hoc explanations, post facto explanations. They can make it seem to work for good enough for their purposes, but that doesn't mean it's true. And like I
Okay.
said, what they need to do is go out and fundamentally test. And this is what's garnered so much frustration.
But it's an
One of our
axiomatic thing.
members,
It's not like
yeah,
a conspiracy. It's more just pride, is what you're saying.
well, I don't know about pride. It's just a misinterpretation. Another case in point. One of our members, he doesn't come around much anymore. He has a PhD in physics and studies photospectrometry, so the behavior of light. He thought we
Okay.
were a bunch of crazy assholes, and so he took some of his laboratory equipment, i.e., like big expensive lasers and optical telescopes, like holy shit. And he went out and started making observations in a very controlled way. He's got a YouTube channel. And he set out to try and prove us wrong. He's like, no, I'm gonna go measure the distance to the horizon. I'm gonna go capture the curvature. I'm gonna just shut these flat earthers down. And he couldn't freaking do it. He couldn't do it. And he's actually gone on tour with his setup across the southern coast of Britain doing public demonstrations, showing people that they can see too far for Earth to be the globe that they thought it was, and shining lasers and hitting targets over distances that should be also impossible. This is the weird thing. The Earth measures and is utilized this way. And nobody can seem to demonstrate that it's a globe except for, the claims from space agencies.
Okay. So I have two questions to that then. Um,
Okay.
First and foremost is okay, what do you have to say about astronauts who have claimed to have literally seen the curvature of the Earth? And number two is I why is the globe Earth model such an attractive idea that people are so steadfast that they're unwilling to if we look at back go into the past and the first person to have ever claimed that the Earth was a globe, why is that such an attractive idea that people are unwilling to let go of it?
think it checks a lot of boxes on people's philosophical data sheets. You've got a great foundation, a great basis for scientific materialism to flourish. You've got a great story, a great creation story that can be, that can excuse a god, excuse a creator that's involved. So
Exclude.
some of that.
Well, Yoder, the first person
It
that
also
that,
built
that came up
upon
with the idea.
it built upon ancient conceptions of the world, going back to Pythagoras and Plotinus and Plato and all the others, Hipparchus, all the astronomer guys, Aristarchus, and so on.
And that's somehow
And
more attractive of an idea than like anything religion has to offer, because Christianity and many other religions still have a much broader following, and they still believe that the Earth is a globe. But the majority
Well,
of them,
it
of course.
started as a religion. It started as a religion because Pythagoras thought that the things in the sky were spheres and they were perfect, and the gods were the ones that created those spheres.
Right. It goes
Okay.
back to idealism, essentially. You got the sphere, a Platonic solid. It's beautiful because it's got one face. And then from this we can produce so much, right? So people conceived
Can
of
we?
the stars at night as being lit up on the interior of a magic 8-ball.
But we don't believe that.
No, we don't. But this is a celestial sphere concept. It's still taught in astronomy. It's today just as a model, but the Greeks actually thought that this was the case. So
Yeah,
people
but
like
that
this.
doesn't make the idea attractive the way it's taught today, because we're taught
Well,
that these are hot balls of gas and plasma.
well, right. But it's expanded since then. But this is how it's modeled in applications like stellarium and planetarium software, incidentally. Regardless, where I was going with this is it gives people comfort. It gives people a link to Western roots. It pulls together metaphysics. It pulls together physics. It pulls together so many different disciplines. I really think there's a lot of psychological comfort that comes from this cosmology.
Someone just posted in the chat and said that and said to me that that the astronauts have a vested interest in supporting the view of the government. But like, I'm sorry,
About
this
that.
and I'm really not trying to be like facetious. I am being sincere. I really just don't find that convincing. Like, okay, how much money would you make subverting and disproving like the huge paradigm of the shape of the Earth? That would be like, honestly, that'd be bigger than curing cancer. I feel
I
like if you
know.
could
Well,
actually prove that, the technology we could
we're
build with
we're
that
at
knowledge
the
of the universe.
we're at the precipice of something potentially big and explosive. I mean, this movement really started to gather steam 5 to 10 years ago. Before then, everybody laughed at it.
Okay.
Not only
Right.
that, the
It's
issue
also
is, Julian, is that they're teaching kids and putting this all over everywhere, TV, internet. So they're programming people to think and believe this is what they're living.
yeah,
And
but they're not
We think that
necessarily
that's the
we do that
question.
with
lying,
religion
right?
too, but not even religion
They're,
has that kind of a grip.
they're not setting out to deceive on purpose, man. This is more about people believing so wholeheartedly in something and accepting it's true without checking the fundamental premise. Listen,
Well, the
when we
person in the
talk to
chat, they
academics,
implied that they were lying. They implied that the
well,
astronauts were lying.
all right, well, let me put a cap on that real quick. I mean, none of the astronauts, except for those that claim to have landed on the moon, were far enough away from the Earth in order to see the curvature of it, even if it was a globe of the claim size that they think it is in the first place. We could
Okay,
prove this
what about them then?
geometrically. Well, they're mistaken. I mean, it's just like my grandma who thought she saw curvature at the beach. I mean, no. There's actually in
The
the
astronaut
field of
was mistaken.
psychology, there's the Lennon illusion, which is the illusion of curvature that doesn't actually exist. It's freaking hilarious. It's
Okay,
actual
so
term.
like the fish eye effect in a camera doesn't actually show the curvature of the
Yeah.
Earth when like you send a balloon up into space, unless you're at a great distance, right? So like the fish eye effect, yeah, that's not proof of the globe Earth model. But like we've taken photos of the Earth from the moon itself. Is
Well,
that
I don't know
faked?
about that. I mean, what the Apollo like Earthrise imagery? I mean,
If we're
I
thinking
could
of the
really
same
hang
image,
with
then
the
yeah.
Apollo
But like
mission,
there's a
man.
photo of the Earth with like from the moon.
Listen, like attacking
bad to take those
moon
pictures.
missions is for kid. Like this is child's play. We could totally dunk on the moon landings. They never happened. That was a gigantic Cold War
Okay, so
psyop.
it is about lying. It's not about academic sincerity or
Well, in
insincerity.
this case,
So it is about
the
lying.
lie. Well, in this case, the lie is not concentrated. It's not focused on trying to deceive people about the nature of Earth. You know, the reason for NASA and the reason for the Apollo moon missions was to project power and dominance technologically and geopolitically that didn't even exist. We can go back to NASA's founding documents and pull direct quotes from them on how the space program was to be utilized first and foremost as a psychological warfare tool in order to cement American exceptionalism, technological progress, and scientific discoveries as being absolutely unattainable by anybody else, following America's victory over the Nazis in World War II.
Yeah,
This
but
is all
then the
about
Russians also went to the
Germany
moon, and
forever.
so did China and a few others.
Well, yeah, they had a similar space program, right? And so this was almost a battle of propaganda. You know, and what I find kind of somewhat delectable in all of this is the UK had the foresight to not try to fake any moon landings. They stayed out of that shit.
Okay, but what about the moon rocks that we've brought? Like, I'm sorry, a lot of science has been done with
you're
this stuff that is like
You don't want to know
revolutionized
about the moon rock.
modern
In
science.
about 30 seconds, you're going to get shown in the text chat on the side that moon rocks that have been sent to foreign dignitaries were actually tested and found to be fossilized wood, petrified wood.
Fossilized wood.
Yeah.
Yep.
They couldn't have just found a
From
rock
Australia.
on
No,
a mountain.
specifically,
They had to use fossilized
specifically
wood.
was from Australia. Yeah, they found out exactly where it was from.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I mean,
no.
the moon,
Okay,
yeah.
so wait. Is it fossilized wood or is it rock from Australia?
Fossilized wood from Australia.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, the moon landing nonsense aside, I would say that it's very likely that the Apollo astronauts themselves still think Earth is a globe. And while they were vacationing on the island of Guam or wherever, while the supposed Apollo moon landing was said to take place, that they then returned back to America, still believing Earth is a globe, but knowing full well that they never actually landed on the moon. I also
Do you know
think
how
that
much
there are
money
probably
somebody
still
would
offices.
make by
There are probably
during the
still
moon
offices.
missions?
There are probably still offices in NASA right now trying to figure out how to send a satellite into an orbit around a globe.
Well,
The reason why they keep fucking up is because it's flat.
What, like trying to figure it out how to do it for the first time, or
Yes.
trying to plan for the next
Yes.
one? Because we have satellites.
Trying to do it for the first time. And the way that you think that they're happening has not actually been achieved.
How does Starlink work then?
I wish I could tell you,
How does it
because
work?
if you look at
Our receiver
let me
at
tell you.
work for our fire system, 2 cellular antennas on the box called Starlink. They're microwave antennas.
Yep, I mean, that's very likely. But if you want to go work for Starlink, go look at their job postings. All right, go look at like senior engineer or whatever. You're going to need like an above top secret clearance.
Okay.
Like we took down their job postings, so they couldn't tell you how it works if they wanted to.
Okay, what is that intended to convey though? Like, what point are you making with that?
The point is nobody really knows how these things are supposed to. We talk to satellite engineers almost on a very frequent basis. There's a guy that was in here just yesterday. His name's Josh Ingersoll. He works for the Amazon Kuiper program, which is going to compete with Starlink. And he's a no kidding aerospace engineer, graduated from Georgia Tech. He's got a LinkedIn page. He works in Washington to connect people together. He's actually worked on some private on CubeSats, and he's unable to explain and clarify some of the questions we have about their nature and their operations. That's just one example.
Okay, being unable to explain something, or being unable to clarify something about a satellite, and doesn't mean that it's not evidence in favor of your point. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, I could tell you why. I could tell you why he
Sure.
can't. It's because he doesn't have direct access to gain the knowledge that he needs to answer these questions, and he doesn't know who does.
Okay, so
and he fakes it.
your evidence you have in your mind for the shape of the Earth being flat is hidden behind NDA and classified information, right?
No. It's in the laser
No?
measurements. It's in the laser measurements. It's in long distance observations. It's in microwave links. It's in high altitude infrared photogrammetry, which we can get into as well. It's in multimodal measurements that have been done all over the Earth by all kinds of people.
Forgive me, I really am not a physics expert. All right, you need to talk to me
Okay.
like a layman, please.
Basically, we got people that can take a very expensive optical equipment, think like spy satellite cameras, and they aim them sideways out of airplanes and do hyper zooms on the horizon.
Okay.
So we're able to pull up mountain ranges that should be like 180,000 feet dipped below the curvature of the Earth, but you can see them in infrared. The infrared cuts down on refraction, and it's already being observed from a vantage point where the air is the first place.
So that gives me a question then. So what about people? Okay, if the Earth is flat, does it have an edge that we have discovered?
No, that's the weird
So
thing, man.
it's
Like,
infinite.
So here's, well,
or
it
indefinite.
maybe, but
indefinite.
Indefinite. So there, yeah, what Earth is it's not this is a realm. Is my best understanding. Personally, this is a realm. Earth is not an object like you'd think a planet is. That's defined by the space that surrounds it and the space that
So
fills
if
it.
that's the case,
Earth,
what about
Earth cannot be
planes that have traveled
objectified.
across the world, like going in one direction, ending up in like the same place by going around the globe?
Right. To answer that question, you'd have to ask, how does the pilot or how does the plane know like where it is? Through what schema? Well, if it's using a spherical coordinate reference system, then you're going to be able to map this thing on a ball, whether or not that ball exists in reality.
Okay, no, I'm saying like, what about people who have traveled across the planet in one direction in like roughly a straight line, and ended up in roughly the same place without ever turning around?
I know that sounds that
They've
in
never
theory
done that.
but
they've never done that.
So impossible. Yeah, it's so impossible to do. It'll make your head hurt. Just how do you do it when you're out at, like, let's say the South Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles from land, and the water's all flat? How do you know that if you're being carried by a current or not, being twisted around and turned, or being pushed laterally in one direction for hundreds of miles? You'd have no way to discern what's happening to you.
Okay, so there is a company called One World that give you round the world airline tickets, where you will go in one direction.
It's not a straight line. No, it's not a straight line.
Not a straight line. Well, it's not exactly
they don't stay up. They don't stay up in the air for 24,900 miles.
Yeah, we looked into that too. You're about to get some posts probably in the side chat about this as well.
I'll give you another heads up. Julian. No one has ever been on a latitude and traveled east or west in a straight line and stayed on the same latitude. If you go straight in a straight line, if you're facing north and you turn 90 degrees and you head in a straight line, you will not stay on the same latitude.
That's right. If you look, let's say you're facing north, okay, and you're facing north not by a compass, but by looking in the direction that Polaris is, right? So the angle of Polaris gives you your latitude on spherical grid. And like, if you were to look directly to the left, 90 degrees left, this would be heading at 270 degrees from your position, by the way. And you were to identify another star that's just above the horizon, and you're looking at it, that's actually south. If you keep going in that straight direction, you'll be heading southward. Because if you were to head westward, you'd have to start curving to the right. I only have a few minutes left, so I'm going to back off right now. Nice chatting with you. Feel free to come back.
You're good. Yeah, east and west are just circles around north. That's all that is. But as far as going in a straight line and ending right back where you started from, nobody's ever done that before. Ever.
Hey, sorry, I was at work, so I had a customer.
No, you're good. But see, and like all these questions start coming into your mind once you hear that the Earth is flat and you get evidence for like why it would be so. And then you have all these other questions because honestly, the truth is, if the Earth is not a ball with the size that they tell us that it is, the entire cosmology is wrong. You no longer have the distance to the moon. You no longer have the distance to the sun, the planets, the stars. All that
What
shit is
about the
wrong.
Mars missions
Everything is
then?
prove that it's real, man. You're gonna have to prove that you can have gas
Like, can you
pressure
prove
like
that
on
I'm
Earth.
real? Like, if look, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be
No.
disrespectful, but can you prove that I'm real by that logic?
Yeah, because I'm talking to you right now, and you're
I could be
coherent.
AI.
Uh-oh. The dude lost it. Now he thinks he's not real, but in his not real world, Earth is still flat.
I know
Look,
I'm real, bro.
guys, please, I promise I'm in good faith. All right, don't dogpile me. But like, come on, I really do. I don't want to engage. Every photo we've ever seen is fake. Come on.
That's the whole point, right? Like, if you think you're insignificant speck of dust, then are you even real?
I know I'm real, right? I don't care
Yeah.
how insignificant I am. I live my own life, and I that's just axiomatically important to me. That's fine.
Right.
But
So
like,
we can agree on
so
terms, right?
you want me to prove that the Mars missions are real? Like, I haven't
Well,
been to Mars, but we have
here's the
photos.
first thing. Here's the first thing. Well, I mean, I have a photo of Elvis Presley and the was it Bigfoot riding on the Loch Ness monster. Does that prove that that's
Okay,
real?
not the photo itself.
Right.
But
Like,
like, you do realize there's more to okay. The Mars missions have backing to them for their legitimacy of actually happening
No,
for a few
I
reasons.
want to ruin your day, dude. Tell me when
Can
I'm
I?
allowed to. Yeah.
They're
You go
bottlenecked
ahead
by
and
the
You want
talk
to
same
and
ruin
then
my
let
issues.
me
day,
ruin your
bro?
day.
I'm not bad faith. Like, this is why nobody wants to fucking talk to you guys. Like, I'm
No, I'm
trying to
just
ask
gonna give
questions.
you some facts about your Mars shit. After you're done telling us your story, I'm going to ruin it all with the truth.
Congratulations. What I'm saying is that, like, entire institutions with people with very conflicting interests, individuals and stuff like that, with their own lives, are all collectively sending probes and like looking at celestial bodies with their own equipment they study for years to do this. These are all individuals who are not in on a conspiracy, okay? And then they have like video and photo evidence of sending a probe to a different planet.
There
That,
are
like, that's
bottlenecks. There's a
the
chain of
foundation for me saying that.
I know there's a chain of custody issue with all the data that's being processed and disseminated. There are certain choke points, and we cannot verify the information that we're getting from these choke points.
What? Okay,
Furthermore,
but why would they lie about it?
the claims
Look, I'm not saying
themselves
this proves it, but like, why would they lie
contradict what
about
we
it?
know to be true in physical reality. And there are
Well,
plenty of motives
this
for
doesn't
the
prove it to be
deception.
true. But why would they lie about the Mars missions?
Well, for the same reason that NASA was founded in 1958 from the first place, where they said that they would project technological capabilities and scientific discoveries as a psychological tool.
NASA has basically no cultural clout. They're
yes, it does.
underfunded as shit, and don't,
No.
America
You'd be
doesn't
interested in
celebrate
seeing these
NASA. America
documents
doesn't
yourself?
celebrate space travel.
You haven't heard the good news, dude, about NASA, have you?
What's the good news about NASA, dude?
Oh, in
boy.
September. Yeah, in September, they were reclassified as an intelligence agency now, so you don't have to call them a space agency anymore. Now they can just put out propaganda, and they don't have to get in trouble for it because they're a spy agency like the CIA. Do you like that?
Okay, so
Right.
a global conspiracy needs to make a legal distinction in order to be allowed to lie. Like, come on.
No, listen, this is all about projecting technological progress and capabilities that may not exist, not about necessarily hiding, flat Earth. You can't hide flat Earth, right? It's obvious. You measure it that way.
Not obvious to me.
So, well,
And
how
like,
do you
I'm not
experience the
being
globe?
like closed-minded about it. It's
You've
just like,
never tried. That's why.
Right.
I've never
We haven't
tried.
even got to the best part yet, Julian. We haven't even gotten to the part where we talk about how the air that you breathe is gas pressure, and how you can't have gas pressure next to an empty vacuum system.
Yeah, it destroys outer space as a vacuum. Yep.
Okay, have you heard of gravity?
No, what is
we
it?
can talk
How does
about that.
gravity
You want
work?
to talk about gravity? You said you're not into physics. Unfortunately, this goes into physics.
Well, I have a
Molecular
layman's
theory of
understanding
gas
of
behavior.
gravity.
Okay, how does gravity work?
How does gravity work? By my
Yeah.
understanding, it's
Uh-huh.
the folding or distortion of space and time
So that's the air
Holds
container.
by massive objects
So that holds air.
that holds air.
Is
Air
that what
comes
holds
together through
air?
molecules and like
Is
atoms.
that what holds air? Is that what makes air pressure? Folding,
Air pressure?
folding space time. Yeah.
I'm sure it contributes to it.
No, containers make air pressure. You got that
Containers
wrong.
make
You're
air
right. You are
pressure.
bad at physics.
Okay, is this like a joke or a game to you guys? Like, again, I
No.
came in here. I'm not trying to like fuck with your heads, but
We've got
everybody
10
here is
years
like,
of
oh yeah, I'm
recordings.
gonna dunk on this guy. I'm gonna
Right.
dunk. Like, come on.
We got 10 years of live recordings, 24/7, 365. All of our interactions documented.
No, why are you getting upset about it, man? We're just attacking your argument, not you.
No, you guys are treating this like it's a fucking blood sport. Not all of you guys, but like at least two of you have done that. It's really stupid.
It's one of the
you
Like
have
if
to
you're trying to
understand.
save me from the globalist agenda, like this is the worst
Okay.
way to do it.
Can you bend space and time?
Can I bend space and time? Technically, yeah, I do.
Okay, how? Using the
Like by virtue of
scientific
being.
method.
Look, I may be American. I'm not that massive, but like an object with mass does have a distortion effect on space and time.
Prove it.
Prove it? Relativity? Like, what do you mean prove it? That's disingenuous. I can't
Relativity
bring out the
doesn't prove
textbook
it.
right now.
Julian,
What?
can I give you a piece of advice here? We've reached an impasse now. And people like to dump a lot of shit for hours, and you're just going to get overloaded. The best course of action here is just to take a little time to think about this and then come back at another time, or it's going to lead to
You do realize this
contention.
isn't my fault, right? Like I came
No,
here asking.
No, you don't have to leave,
not.
dude. You don't have to go anywhere unless there's somebody else here like you, because you are going to suffer the way other people have had to suffer when they found out the earth was flat. You're going to get the same treatment.
Same treatment? What am I, your enemy or something?
No.
No, not at all. Just deprogramming you, and it's starting to come out that you're starting to get angry at us.
I think Yoder did a good job explaining the position to you, and now you need time to think about it.
Okay, don't pretend to know my psychology, bro.
Why are you getting upset?
That's how you want to play it and stay and fight. But I think you could actually maybe understand the method and so forth, and you
Okay,
don't have to
I
fight
said
about it.
gravity like is the consequence of like a massive object distorting space and time, and somebody fucking told me to prove it. Like, what? Do you want me to start from first principles? Like, come on. What I'm doing is I'm trying to ask like look, because I'm not a physics expert, I can't delve into the advanced mathematics and calculus. Okay.
All right,
Two,
boys.
I'm at work.
Go
All
at
right,
him.
It's
come
not
on.
about
Like
mathematics and
I can't
calculus.
do that
We
right
want
now.
the physical demonstration. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah, we want to see how gravity holds air into a ball and makes air pressure.
You could also
Okay.
ask us to present some of our observations and measurements from our server.
Okay. So is Earth under a glass dome? Is that the alternative?
No, it's not like that.
Then what's containing the Earth?
Why
It's a
does the Earth
mystery.
have to be contained like that?
Well, I mean, the absence of matter. We agree matter exists, right, guys?
This is where extreme humility has to come in to the picture here. And the fact of the matter is we don't know. We have some
don't know.
speculations, okay? No.
No, I'm not dogging on you. I'm saying that okay, we don't know. Fine.
Yeah, we don't know.
But the absence of matter is a vacuum. We agree on that, right? Like that's
Correct.
we can create artificial vacuums. Okay.
Yeah.
Something would have to be containing the Earth.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a natural vacuum. We can only create artificial ones.
We can only create it.
So your,
Okay.
yeah,
But
so
like
your
what's
space vacuum,
holding the
your
air inside
space
the Earth,
vacuum
though?
is not a natural vacuum. That's an imaginary vacuum.
What's containing the Earth, though? Like, we haven't found the edge, but we can at least hypothesize about one.
Earth is already in contained air.
In contained air. Okay, but someone just
Here,
said that it doesn't have to necessarily be contained.
Jillian, I'll keep it real simple for you. All right. And so again, all we can do is speculate. But if gas pressure requires containment, then our best guess, it's not even that we have any evidence for it, but our best guess, other than that gas pressure requires containment, is that we live inside of a terrarium. And what the shape of that terrarium is, we have no fucking clue.
Dr. Hannes Alfvén from NASA, he's one of the founders of the plasma or electric universe cosmology concept. He gave a seminal talk back in the late 80s, along with a fat 300-page paper on plasma physics and how it relates to the Earth and what space is. And he basically dunked on all the people that were proponents of relativity and gravity and all this and said, look, what you're proposing has absolutely nothing to do with the real dynamics, the real physical forces that we know exists up there. Space is 99% plasma. We're going to use it that way. He invented a form of physics called magnetohydrodynamics. Like, this is a NASA guy doing this. We can present his information. He actually built a plasma field simulator in order to conduct model studies on it, in order to help understand the plasma fields, the double layers of plasma above Earth. I mean, so there's not like this gigantic consensus going on that people think there is regarding what our cosmology is like.
So I did a Google search on atmospheric pressure, and although my explanation is simplified, it's correct, or at least it's sort of supported by the results of this Google search. So gravity is the mechanism by which air pressure is maintained on planet Earth.
No.
And actually, it would make sense, right? So objects with more mass or that are denser are going to go towards the bottom, or like the epicenter, like the center of a massive body, right? It makes sense that the air is on top. Right?
Yeah, gases go in all directions. They don't go towards a ball.
No, they are still like bound by gravity.
No, they're not. And this is provable. This is provable not only in laboratory, not only in laboratory demonstrations, but also in the natural world. I've got a great article from the Journal of Cave and Karst Studies on this very thing.
Hold on, does gravity
talks about thermal diffusion and mixing of gases happens in caves that have been isolated from the outside world, and there's no stratification whatsoever of the different gas molecules by molecular weight in relationship to gravitational forces.
Does gravity exist?
Well, gravity is not a factor in the entire kinetic molecular theory of gas behavior.
Can you please
you want a simplified version, Julian? Julian, you want a simplified version?
Yes, very simplified. Does gravity exist?
All right. So when you have a soda can, right, and it's full of air pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you open that soda can, what happens to the air inside the can?
It spews out.
Right. Why doesn't gravity keep it inside of the can?
Why doesn't gravity keep it inside the can? Because that's not how gravity's supposed to. That's not how gravity works.
Gravity
is supposed to keep it at the bottom.
Come on, bro.
Okay. Do you want me to answer that, or do you want to say, is this a gotcha for you?
No, it is a gotcha.
Okay. So gravity doesn't require things like denser objects will like go to the bottom of anything. They will gravitate towards the bottom. These are more massive and they're denser. They have more matter packed into the same space. So if you say put a rock inside a cup of water, right, that rock is going to go down. It's more dense, and
I'm not disputing
that's how density works.
But that's
now,
a different
same way,
phase of matter,
the air inside that can is less dense than the can and the air around it, so it's going to go up into the air.
It's not only less dense, dude. It's unbonded. It's an entirely different phase of matter, and it seems to behave according to a different set of laws.
Wait, difference of the air in the can behaves according to a different set of laws compared to what?
A solid or a liquid.
Different states of matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different state of matter. It's also less dense than the can.
Of course it is.
And the air around it, so it's going to float upward. But it can only float so much higher. It can't go infinitely into space.
Oh, well, if it were a vacuum, yes, it would. It would go indefinitely. Gases are weird.
No,
dude.
because gravity keeps it within a certain radius.
It's called an adiabatic expansion. You can Google Joule-free expansion. gases expand as long as they have heat applied to them. They will expand forever, indefinitely, and in straight lines.
Gas will always expand forever
Yeah, absolutely.
unless
You can
there's
read
a
about
force.
this in The
Hold
Theory of
on.
Heat by James
Yes,
Clerk
unless there's a force
Maxwell.
that's keeping them, like maybe like a gravitational force that's keeping them
No,
within a certain radius.
No, they have to
it doesn't
bounce off a
interact with
physical
them.
object to come back.
They have to bounce on a physical object.
Yes,
So
yes.
again, like this
Called
isn't
an
how
elastic-
gravity works. Like,
called
is
an
this
elastic
It's not a
collision.
force.
It's an elastic
so what's
collision, dude.
gravity to you guys?
It's a phenomena of a seemingly downward acceleration of solid objects in a vacuum.
What is down?
To the floor, it's not inward to a ball.
So what? Okay, what is down though?
Perpendicular to the floor.
Go horizontal, perpendicular to horizontal.
Yep.
Okay, and all right.
Horizontal is your horizon, you know, the natural part. That's where we get that from.
Yeah, but like that.
See, here's
There
the
have
weird
been
thing,
okay.
right?
So what
They
about
told you,
Albert Einstein?
they told you
Is
the
Albert
way
Einstein
that
a
you
liar?
experience
No,
reality.
hold on, everyone. No, Albert Einstein is horizontal right now. Yes, he
I
is
understand that.
horizontal. Okay,
Good
good
job.
for Albert
Dunking
Einstein.
on a dead guy,
He's
but you
nothing
do.
to do
So
with
did he
anything.
lie?
He has
Did he
nothing to.
lie?
He's not. He doesn't do
Julian.
anything. You guys lie about him. That's all.
I mean, Einstein's research, the
Dude,
theory
you
of
have
relativity,
no idea
is that not
what
true?
he researched. You don't even know what the bending and warping of the four-dimensional manifold of space-time is. Come on. You have no
Bro,
idea
you
what
just
gravity is.
spit
Wait,
Full
four-dimensional
stop.
manifold
Full
of space
stop. You
and
don't
said
even
that
know
that's a
what
gotcha.
gravity is. Full stop.
So this is why I wanted to know, like, the personal
Painful, isn't
conviction
it?
Hang
of
on,
somebody who
bro.
wants to
Hang
be a
on, bro.
flat earther, because
Hang on, bro.
you have to
Isn't it,
deny
isn't it
so
Well, hang on,
much.
bro.
Yeah,
Hang
you
on,
have
bro.
to deny reality, right?
So, do you know the difference between a theoretical physicist and a practical one?
I can infer the difference, but I haven't been told.
I'll say theoretical physicists don't do experiments.
How would
They do
you
thought
build a
experiments.
scientific
They
theory
don't do
without doing
practical.
experiments?
They don't apply what they're talking about to
They
reality.
How
think
would they?
about it.
How would they
Find it
think
theorize?
about it
How would
and
you
write
build a
it down.
scientific
That's how you
theory
do it.
without doing experiments?
You don't. It's not. You think about it and you write it down, and that's your experiment. The end.
If I do a Google search right now of a theoretical physicist that's done an experiment, would you believe me?
No.
In our field, it's
They could know about the scientific method, and
Then it wouldn't be. Then it wouldn't be a theoretical experiment.
Yeah, they could do a practical experiment.
This just
if they
feels like a
wanted to.
word game, dude.
It's just that they don't, right? Einstein was a theoretical physicist. He never performed a fucking experiment in his fucking life.
So yeah, it is a word game, dude. They bamboozled you with words to make you think you live on a ball.
Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method.
That
You wanted to
soundbite,
go
that's
down this rabbit hole.
Michio Kaku.
You wanted to rip this Band-Aid off, man. This is it.
But I'm not really sure what to like. I'm sorry, you guys, and this is not me being obtuse. The reason you guys haven't been very convincing is because I get this feeling that everybody here is like enjoying this or somehow enjoying the idea that I'm somehow getting dunked on for being a stupid globalist or something, which makes me question what your motivation is for even believing
It's
in the
not
flat Earth at all.
enjoyment, man.
Wow.
You guys sound very gleeful.
I question
You know?
your
Like
projection.
if this were an actual conspiracy that you guys like
Oh no.
took
Oh, hold on.
seriously,
Let me
then
give you
why
some glee. Yeah, I'm super gleeful because now I know that you know the Earth is flat and you can't do anything about it except think about it all the time now, and then you'll be a flat earther. So yeah, I'm full of glee.
It's like when
Yeah,
you
that
say,
sounds like
hand me,
bloodthirsty to me.
it's like when you say, hand me a screwdriver so I can hammer in this nail. I say, bro, the screwdriver doesn't work for that. You say, no, hand it to me. I can do it. And then we hand it to you.
Actually,
You're like, this
I'll make
thing
a great
fucking
analogy.
sucks.
this is like somebody who didn't know anything about the Epstein files, like who like never heard of Epstein, right? And then like somebody thinks, you know, that like, oh well, the government's like, you know, doing its best. No, I don't believe this, but somebody who believes that the government's doing their best and maybe they're just like, you know, not very good at their job, but they're authentic in their convictions, you know. And then somebody like shows them the Epstein files, and then the people showing them the Epstein files are like, haha, fucking retard. Like, wow, you thought the government was good, huh? Like that's how I feel right now. Like that's
Weren't
like,
you
come
the
on.
guy? I
Now,
may be wrong,
with you
but
guys, you haven't
weren't
even
you
shown me
calling
proof.
everyone delusional earlier?
I didn't call anybody delusional.
No, he came after. He came
That
like
was
5 minutes
a
later.
different guy. All right, my bad. Like I said, I may be wrong. Fair enough.
Okay.
No, we're not here to dunk on you, man, but we are here to give you the right tools because the tools you were given weren't even tools, man. They just put stuff into your imagination and told you to go with it.
I mean, that contradicts what you guys just did, though. Like,
No,
you
you
guys
should be
all
glad you came
collectively
in
just
here, dude.
enjoyed. You guys enjoyed like dunking
Yes,
on the
I
globalists.
enjoy turning people into flat earthers. It's a hobby of mine. I enjoy it.
Yeah, you sound pretty bloodthirsty, my guy.
He's just mad because he hasn't had lunch with his mom and his sister yet.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like,
I only have lunch with his mom and his sister.
imagine saying something like that to somebody who is apparently, from your perspective, super ignorant and just wants to know the answers and wants to know the truth. Imagine saying something like that. You know?
Well, if the truth offends you, man, if you're upset by the truth,
No,
then
no, no.
maybe
You said,
should
oh, he
just
hasn't had lunch with his mommy
leave it
yet
alone.
because I like didn't know that
No,
the Earth
I
was
wasn't
flat.
talking about you. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about triangles. I said triangles hasn't had lunch with his mom and sister yet.
Yeah, because
This
I
is how
had
triggered you are.
lunch with your mom and your sister.
Dude, for the same reason somebody thought
I
I
hope you
said,
enjoyed that
hold
much,
on.
man.
Somebody misheard me earlier and thought I called them delusional, but I didn't. People make mistakes. Okay.
No, it wasn't you. It was somebody else.
Yeah, it was
And again,
somebody
my
else.
bad.
And
It
I
was
thought
somebody
you were
else. He
talking
was
to me because I
just
didn't
here
hear you
just
say
before you.
triangles.
But think about it. We get that kind of crap all day long. Just keep that in mind. We get that kind of crap all day long.
Okay, but you guys are the one dishing it out to me when I never did it.
I'm
We're
not.
not
I'm
dishing
trying
it
to
up
make
to you,
things
man.
clear so that you and I aren't
I
arguing.
didn't say anything to you. I just told you facts.
Yeah, but you seem really gleeful and like the discomfort somebody feels from like being
Why is
surrounded
it
by people who
discomfort?
want to
What
What is the
dunk on them rather
discomfort
than show them
about?
the truth.
What's the discomfort about knowing that gas pressure needs a container? Why is
Gas
that
pressure doesn't.
discomfort?
So like, okay, what's a container?
What do you mean? What's a container?
Because that word's doing some heavy lifting. I want to
Yeah,
specify.
it needs to be solid and it has to be able to contain the gas.
Yeah, it means there's no
It can
opening
be a
inside of it.
liquid too. It can be a liquid too if it's done right.
Yeah, just like
Okay.
bubbles underwater.
Okay. But those bubbles eventually rise upward, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we know density. We know why the gas is at least like the air we breathe is at least on the surface, right?
Okay.
But gravity, I feel like this wouldn't even disprove the flat Earth, but all it's like gravity
Let
would
me ask you
at the very
this: Do
least
you know what the
fit
do you know what the
with
law
the
of
global Earth model.
do you know what the law of conservation of energy is?
Yes.
What is it?
Energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred.
Right. So where does all gas exchange occur?
Where does all gas exchange occur? I guess it depends on where the gas is.
At the surface of the Earth.
There's gas beneath the Earth's surface.
Right, but it's still at the surface.
No, beneath the Earth's surface.
Right, but it's still at the surface. Like we're talking about like
the crust.
within a mile up and a mile down, most gas exchanges occur in that area, right?
Okay, I wouldn't consider that the surface, but fine, that's just semantics.
I mean, so anyway, if gas exchange is only occurring there, right? There would be no reason for it to go extremely high, especially if we, weren't filled to capacity, right?
I mean, if the least dense material is like the gas, right? Gas is not a very dense state of matter. So of course, like for the same reason that like a bubble of air in the ocean
never filled up
floats
a
to the surface,
basketball, have you?
air on the Earth's surface is going to like rise.
Right. We don't deny something called specific gravity or the density medium relationship.
So
Right.
air is not going to get pulled down to the ground. It's going to rise, like you said.
What's your mechanism for explaining why gravity does what it does, though?
Do you see your contradiction now? No, you need to explain your contradiction.
What contradiction?
You said air rises from the ground.
Rises from the ground? It's less dense than the ground, so it's not going to like stay there.
So how come it gets pulled down to the ground?
Gravity.
How does gravity pull it down while it's still going up at the same time? Which way does it go?
It's a contradictory force. So if I'm holding a pen in my hand, right, gravity's pulling it to the ground, and then I have a stronger force pulling it upward and holding it up in the air with my hand.
So at what point does air know it has to stop going out into outer space?
At what point does air know? Air doesn't know anything.
Okay, what point does gravity know to stop air from going out into outer space?
Gravity is a function of the like distortion of space-time, right? So air is only going to like go up in the air proportional to the other forces exerted onto it, and that it's exerting onto the world around it. So let's take the soda can again, okay? There's pressurized gas, I believe carbon dioxide inside the can, right? You open it, a bunch of gas escapes and goes into the air. That's less dense than the can, so of course it's going to escape, but it's also not dense enough, it's not massive enough to be held down by Earth's gravity so strongly that it just goes to the floor. It's exerting a force against gravity, but only to an extent. It's not strong enough to escape velocity.
So if I took an empty vacuum chamber and then I let a little bit of helium into it, so the helium is more dense than nothing, will it go to the floor?
If helium is more dense than nothing, will it go to the floor? I actually don't know. I'd have to see.
No, it'll just go in all directions.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so gases go in all directions. Gravity doesn't pull them down.
Gravity does pull it down, but it's not strong enough to pull all the way down.
You can't have gases go in all directions.
Okay, you think this is a contradiction?
Gravity pulls gases down. You can't have both.
Sure you can. If the gravity's not strong enough to hold it to the floor.
That's because you live in cognitive dissonance. You hold two beliefs.
Dude, take a deep breath.
At the same time,
you're getting
and they're
really
both
worked up about
opposite
this,
beliefs, dude.
All I said was the gravity's not strong enough to hold it all the way to the floor. Right? Because that would require constant strong enough force. Gravity's not strong enough to hold that helium gas all the way to the floor.
It's on Earth, it should all lay on the ground.
That's not how gravity works, and I never said it was. Like the helium is exerting an upward force through like not an upward force, but like it's not dense enough or it's not massive enough to be held down the way gravity is.
More dense than the nothingness of a vacuum, right? So it should just sit on the floor of the vacuum chamber.
Can you show me the experiment? I'd love to learn more. Can you show me that experiment?
Just go do it yourself.
Go do it myself. I'm sorry, I don't have a vacuum chamber, you dishonest. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Oh, I have one. I thought everybody had them.
You know, if there's a roast here you could do, I'm not doing it.
You're privileged. You have vacuum chamber privilege.
Oh, okay. I just went and got one so I could do all this myself.
Anyway, man, what happens when you have a vacuum chamber and you put like a bowl of water in the vacuum chamber with the air, and then you suck the air out of it? What happens to the water?
Can you repeat that question?
If you have a vacuum chamber, right? You put a water bowl in there, little bowl with some water inside of it, right? And then you suck the air out of it, right? Does gravity make the water stay to the bottom of the bowl?
No, in fact, it would probably start boiling because the lack of air pressure, the boiling point of water decreases with the decrease of air pressure.
So not gravity then. So it's air pressure that keeps the water in place. See how that works? It's all air pressure, dude. You're starting to figure it out.
The gravity
it's
contributes
all
to
of it. It's all of it. Without air pressure, you can't do anything.
Under your model, gravity
without air pressure, you can't do anything.
Again, you're so gleeful to like dunk on me when I'm just like trying to give a hypothetical.
All I said, I don't need a hypothetical. I'm just giving you facts.
It's reality, man. No hypotheticals. Talk about testable, repeatable reality.
Hypotheticals in the sense that we're not doing the experiment right now, dude.
I could go
Would
do
you
it
like him
right
to do
now
it?
if you want me to, but I'm not going to, because if you do, you're going to have to pay me because I'm lazy.
Not lazy enough to dunk on somebody who wasn't even trying to attack you.
Nobody's attacking
But no,
you.
honestly, you think this is fun. Like this is how you get your kicks, obviously.
Do you think it's fun?
You're having a great time right now.
I have a good time at showing you how air pressure is what's making the water stay in place.
So
And now
who
you
am I,
realize,
Jason? Like,
that if you don't have air pressure,
Hold on.
you won't
Who
have
am I,
water
Jason?
either.
You're not.
Now you have to figure out why does air stick around the ball in a vacuum when it doesn't do it in reality? How does it do it in outer pretend space?
Outer pretend space.
Yeah, space is fake. If it was real, we wouldn't be breathing air.
That's how it works, man.
So okay, back to the like bowl of water in the vacuum chamber, right? How does the water get held down there? Like you didn't even mention the fact that the water would boil. Did you even know that it would boil in those
It does
conditions?
more than that. It does more than that.
Well, no, he didn't even. Do you even have like maybe you do, but like, do you even have a vacuum chamber to test this with? I don't know if I believe that because like if you'd done this before, which you say you have, then you would have known the water would boil, and you didn't even mention that.
He's done it live in here on camera.
Okay.
No,
And that's
I
just a
wasn't the
weird,
one who
really weird
brought
way
it
to
up
phrase
in the
the
first
question.
place. I wasn't the one who brought it up in the first place. I was letting him explain it to you.
Oh, then I just got confused with who had the vacuum chamber.
Yeah, it'll do more than just boil in a vacuum. What do you think it'll do in a vacuum if it does more than boil?
Turn into a gas.
And then what happens to that
It might float
in a
around.
vacuum?
It sticks to everything on the inside of the vacuum chamber until it dries up. There, I got to the punchline.
Okay, dries up like from the heat, like evaporation.
Yeah, so once it goes poof and has nothing holding it down, it just goes like a gas, and it's all on the inside, on the top, on the bottom, all on the sides. It's wet, and then about 20 minutes later, it dries up, and it's all completely dry in there. You just turn it off and put another bowl of water in there and start all over again.
Proof that you can't have gas pressure without a container.
You definitely can't have a water ball in a vacuum of space.
The bottom line is, a lot of the things that you're fed to be told that is reality is fake. And they've been telling you what you know to be reality. They've been telling you that that's an illusion your whole life.
And it worked.
And it worked. I fell for it for 39 years.
You have no obligation to defend the claims made by dead men who are no longer here. Stuff made by people long ago. They're not actually your claims. You were told that, and you can defend it if you want to, but you don't have to.
Hey, it's not you we're dunking on anyway. I mean, it's the idea that we live on a big spinning ball that we dunk on. If people want to defend that idea and then start realizing that they're failing and feel like they're the ones getting dunked on, it's not our fault.
The thing is, I feel like honestly, okay, it does not mean insulting you. I think you guys take advantage of the fact that like we don't have a degree in physics, and so you will cite because like every single one of you cited like a billion different. Somebody said like fucking like space manifold. Why the fuck would I know what that means? And like, who do you think you're convincing with?
You're under the
like,
impression that those guys
academic
have the answers
vocabulary,
too,
like
bro.
that?
Hey,
You're under
come
the
on.
impression that these guys have the answers too. They don't.
Hey, the
We've
reason
spoken
why I
with
said the
physicists.
bending and
But you'll
warping.
be more convincing if you
Dude,
did have the answers.
listen,
But the thing is,
I do
the
have the
global
answer.
Earth model explains a lot of what goes on around us. I'm not convinced by the air
Explanations
container thing.
require
Is gravity
evidence.
still exists?
Explanations require evidence, and there is no evidence for the explanations.
There's no evidence.
There's no model.
None.
I mean, the the photo of Earth being a globe. You guys say it's fake, but you can't prove that's fake.
You can't prove that it's
Yeah,
real.
no, we can prove it's fake because
Yeah,
if
I
it
already
was
debunked
real,
outer
then
space. I
You
already
if it was
debunked outer
real,
space, so you can't go there to take a picture. So forget about it.
right?
Okay,
Also,
rockets going up into space don't actually go
listen,
anywhere.
hey,
Fake.
Julian, we can do it in another way too. We can go to a large body of water, because if that image is a true representation of the form of the Earth, and when we go to a large body of water, we'll see and measure the geometric consequences across its surface, and we don't. It measures flat.
The geometric consequences across the surface. Over what distance?
Well, 20 miles?
Over 20 miles. You probably
Yeah.
won't see very much curvature of the Earth over 20 miles.
260 feet? That's not enough for
The
you?
thing is, you can make
80
a
meters?
flat disc. You can make a flat disc, right? The disc isn't going to curve. Like, say you have literally a CD, okay? Like, things can be flat without the world around it also being flat.
What? What?
Are you saying like the existence of a span of landmass that doesn't have like meaningful curvature proves that the rest of the world isn't flat?
No, all measurements show the Earth is flat, not just a piece. All of them.
So if your physics is true, right, your gravity, then the surface of liquid is going to be equipotential, meaning it's going to have a curvature rate to it.
Okay, so I was looking up the helium thing. I was looking up
becomes
helium, right?
greater.
And somebody, I looked at an explanation of an experiment where you put a helium balloon inside a vacuum. Okay, it would just sink to the bottom. It wouldn't float
That's
in the
because
vacuum.
it's rubber. Yeah,
That's
you're trying
because
to.
it's
The
rubber.
rubber does. Not
Yeah,
the gas.
rubber's heavier than nothing. Remember?
Rubber's heavier than nothing,
You
but the
forgot
helium
that the balloon
also
has
be heavier
weight.
than nothing, so it
And
floats.
also,
Or
it
nothing,
didn't
it
tell
would
you
go
that
down to
the
the bottom.
helium's restricted by the
it didn't
rubber.
tell you that the helium balloon expands to fill the container, did it?
It didn't. It could explode too. That was also one of the explanations. Depending on like how strong the balloon was, it'd probably explode.
Because it's expanding to fill the container, because that's what gases do. And there's proof of it right there. See that? You just debunked yourself again.
Again, you are enjoying this so much off of like a
I
fucking.
do love it. Because you're trying to debunk us. So I'm just smacking them out of your hand. As you hold them up, I go, pow, and knock them to the ground like a video game.
So this is just a blood sport to you. Like you don't like this is you will always enjoy being on the other side, the subversive side, no matter how true it is.
Side of truth, yes, I like being on the side of truth and facts. That's a
No, it's
winning hand.
contrarianism
It's a winning hand to
motivates
have.
you.
I hold the winning hand. Yes, that's correct. I know I
It's
hold it.
contrarianism that motivates you, not
Hold on a
truth.
second.
Oh,
Hold on a
geez.
second, bro. Do you think that it's going like we find some pleasure in this? It sounds like
Absolutely.
you're hoping to find pleasure in it yourself. And so now that
No.
you're not doing well, you want to blame
Oh, trust
everybody
me,
else
I'm
for
getting
you
no
not
pleasure
doing
from
well.
this. I want to know the
Huh?
motivations of somebody who believes in the flat Earth model.
Motivations. Hold on a second. Before you go any further, you're already really starting to piss me off. Number one, there is
How?
no model. Nobody gave you any model here today.
The
Flat Earth
idea,
is a
okay,
reality.
model as in like the Earth is flat.
No, it's called reality. Everybody measures the Earth flat. Everyone.
No, we always approximate reality. We'll never have perfect access to reality.
Dude, I'm standing on the Earth. What the hell are you talking about?
Okay, we can only through the scientific method we can only approximate reality.
We're not
It never
using
gets
the
a perfect photo.
scientific method yet. This is geometry. See, this is how ignorant you are.
No, I'm not even talking about the flat Earth at this point. I'm just saying we never. You say, "Oh no, I'm just on the side of reality." Are you trying to say you're on the side of scientific consensus or like scientific
No,
truth?
my goodness, man. Why don't you calm down? You're so disheveled. You can't stop speaking, and every time you speak, you say something stupid. Relax.
Oh my god, bro.
You're not making any sense anymore. It's all incoherent. Okay?
You know
The
what I
Earth
mean when I
is
say science
what it
never
is.
proves
It
anything,
is
it
flat.
approximates like an
No, you don't
explanation.
approximate things. You understand me? The Earth is what it is. We measure very accurately the surface of the Earth for very important reasons, because in some instances, people
What is
die.
science? What do you think science is?
Dude, science is a method.
A method to do what?
To find what cause and effect relationships are in the physical and natural world.
That's that could be a motivation, but the scientific method.
It's not a
what it
motivation. Are
accomplishes-
you out of your mind?
Hold on. What it accomplishes is like it builds models or theories
No,
that
it doesn't.
explain what has happened, what
No, it
explains
doesn't.
observation and can predict
No,
future
it does
observations.
not. You're
Whoa.
so wrong. It's not even funny. It is a deductive method to find out cause and effect in the physical and natural world. Everything else that you think is science is pseudoscience because they don't use experiments. That's that approximation thing that
Okay,
you're
so
talking
in my
about.
biology class in
Pseudoscience.
college, when that's how they describe scientific method to me, that they
Yeah, they
just
were
weren't doing
wrong.
science.
They lied to you. Sorry.
Looks like I came in just in time. Do you need
Oh,
some
finally.
citations, mate?
Oh, man. Oh, this is a bad one. I got to go lay down.
Yeah, just in time for him to leave.
Oh, that's a shame.
He called me gleeful.
Did he run away?
Looks like it, mate.
Yeah. We're intellectually sadistic, apparently.
It's okay. I could hear the soy in his voice.
Anybody else out there? I promise not to be gleeful this time.